Hey there, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we have a very exciting topic for all of you who love to dig through your spare change, searching for hidden treasures. What if I told you that a 1973D penny, yes, a 1973D 1-cent coin, could be worth $45 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But believe it or not, 1 cent could turn into millions if you know what to look for. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into the history, the potential value, and the mysterious world of minting errors that could make your 1973D penny far more valuable than its face value. Stay tuned to find out how a regular penny could be hiding a fortune. The 1973D 1-cent coin is part of the regular series of US pennies minted in the 20th century. For those of you who are familiar with US coinage, the penny has been a fixture of American currency since 1909, featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front. This design has remained unchanged for over a century, making it one of the most iconic images in US coinage history. The 1973D penny follows this tradition, featuring Lincoln's portrait on the front, along with the D mint mark, which signifies that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the US Mint's primary coin-producing facilities. On the reverse side, the 1973D penny displays the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the design for the reverse of the penny since 1959. When you first glance at a 1973D penny, it might seem like just another ordinary coin. After all, this was the 1970s, and billions of pennies were minted, making them relatively common. It's easy to assume that a 1973D penny is worth just 1 cent, after all, that's its face value. However, the true value of this coin may lie in something much more intriguing: minting errors. Before we dive into the rare world of minting errors, let's talk about the regular value of the 1973D penny. For most of us, this penny is just like any other. At face value, it's worth 1 cent. The 1973D penny was part of a massive production run by the US Mint, and millions of them were struck. Because of this, most of these coins can still be found circulating today, often mixed in with the spare change in your wallet or piggy bank. Like most pennies minted after 1982, the 1973D penny is composed of a copper-plated zinc alloy, which gives it that familiar reddish-brown color. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. These characteristics are typical for a penny produced in the 1970s, and for the most part, the 1973D penny wouldn't stand out in any collection of pennies from that era. However, while the 1973D penny is generally of little value on its own, this doesn't mean that all 1973D pennies are equal. Some rare varieties of this coin, due to minting errors, can be worth substantially more than their face value, in some cases, potentially millions of dollars. So, how could a 1973D penny be worth $45 million? The answer lies in minting errors. When a coin is being struck at the US Mint, there are several things that can go wrong, resulting in an error or flaw in the coin's design. These errors can range from misaligned strikes to double strikes, and even wrong planchet errors, all of which can dramatically increase a coin's value. Here are some common minting errors that could turn your 1973D penny into a valuable collectible. The double die errors. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck multiple times by the same die, causing part of the design to be duplicated. In the case of the 1973D penny, this could mean that Lincoln's portrait, the date, or even the mint mark could be doubled, creating a doubled image. Double die pennies are highly prized by collectors, and a doubled 1973D penny could be worth thousands of dollars, if not more. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike happens when a coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, which causes part of the design to be cut off or misaligned. This error can result in a misprinted penny, with part of Lincoln's face or the Lincoln Memorial missing. These errors are often highly collectible, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, it could be worth a substantial amount. Die cracks and chips. Over time, the dies used to strike coins wear out, and they can develop cracks or chips. When this happens, those imperfections are transferred onto the coins being struck, creating a unique feature. A die crack or die chip on a 1973D penny could increase its value to collectors, especially if the flaw is particularly noticeable. While these coins don't typically reach the same astronomical values as other errors, they can still be worth more than just a single cent. Wrong planchet errors. One of the rarest and most valuable minting errors is a wrong planchet error. This occurs when a penny is accidentally struck on a metal planchet that was intended for another denomination, such as a dime or nickel. A 1973 penny struck on a dime planchet would be smaller, thinner, and potentially more valuable than a regular penny. These errors are highly sought after, and if you happen to find a 1973 penny with a wrong planchet, you could be sitting on a small fortune. To fully understand how a minting error can dramatically increase a coin's value, let's take a look at a few real-life examples of error coins that have sold for staggering amounts. The 1943 copper penny. During World War II, the US Mint began producing pennies out of steel to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a handful of 1943 copper pennies were mistakenly struck in copper instead of steel, and these rare coins are now worth millions of dollars. In 2010, one of these coins sold for $1.7 million at auction. The 1955 double-die penny, one of the most famous error coins in US history. The 1955 double-die penny features a double date, and it is highly sought after by collectors. These coins can sell for $10,000 to $50,000, depending on their condition, making them incredibly valuable. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of the rarest coins in American history. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel was struck illegally and is worth millions. One example of this coin was sold for $4.5 million in 2018. These examples show that minting errors can transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinarily valuable collectible. If a 1973 penny were to have a similar minting error, it could easily fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, or possibly even more. So, how do you spot a valuable 1973 penny? Here are some tips to help you identify a rare penny that could be worth far more than its face value. Look for double strike errors, carefully examine the date, mint mark, and Lincoln's portrait for any signs of doubling. If you see multiple dates or duplicated images, you might have a double strike penny. Check for off-center strikes, hold the coin up to the light and look for any signs that part of the design is misaligned or cut off. An off-center strike can be a valuable error, especially if the misalignment is significant. Look for die cracks or chips, check for any cracks or chips in the design. These features can occur as the dies wear down, and they make the coin unique. Check the size and weight. If your 1973 penny feels lighter or thinner than a normal penny, it may have been struck on the wrong metal planchet. This can be a rare and valuable error. While the value of a 1973 penny is typically just 1 cent, the potential for a minting error to increase its value is what makes this coin so fascinating. Could a 1973 penny actually be worth $45 million? While this figure is based on the maximum potential value for a coin with an extremely rare error, the reality is that $45 million is unlikely unless it has an extraordinary mistake, such as a double die or wrong planchet error. However, the key takeaway here is that your 1973 penny could very well be worth far more than its face value, especially if it has a rare minting error. Whether it's a double strike penny, a misaligned design, or even a wrong planchet, make sure to check your pennies closely because you might just be holding onto something worth more than just 1 cent. So, have you found a 1973 penny in your change yet? Make sure to check it carefully for any signs of minting errors. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more coin-related content. Who knows? The next time you check. Next 1992 1 cent USA coin. Now, let's talk about something that most of us probably take for granted: pennies. They're small, often tossed aside, and easy to overlook. But what if I told you that a 1992 penny could actually be worth a whopping $40 million? That's right, you heard me correctly. A single 1992 1 cent coin could be worth millions of dollars, far more than its face value of just 1 cent. In today's video, we'll dive into the history, value, and potential minting errors that can turn this seemingly common penny into a highly valuable collectible. Stick around, because this could completely change the way you think about your spare change. Let's start by taking a look at the 1992 penny. The 1992 1 cent coin is part of the ongoing series of US pennies featuring the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln has been featured on the penny since 1909, and his face is still a prominent part of US coinage today. The 1992 penny has a distinctive design that includes Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. The reverse design had been in use since 1959, when it replaced the previous wheat ear design. The Lincoln Memorial was featured on the back of the penny until 2008, when the mint introduced a new reverse design featuring the Union Shield. Now, the D mint mark on the 1992 D penny tells us that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary locations where US coins are produced. While the 1992 D penny may appear to be just another ordinary copper-plated zinc coin, it is in fact part of a much larger story involving potential rarity, errors, and collectible value. At face value, a 1992 D penny is worth exactly 1 cent, but certain minting errors could increase its value to mind-boggling amounts, even reaching $40 million. So, how does a humble penny from 1992 have the potential to be worth millions? Let's explore. So, what's the regular value of a 1992 D penny? In most circumstances, a 1992 D penny will be worth exactly 1 cent, that's its face value. The 1992 D penny was produced in relatively large quantities by the US Mint, meaning they are still in circulation today and can be found in your pocket change. Like most pennies minted after 1982, the 1992 D penny is composed of a zinc core that's coated with a thin layer of copper, giving it its characteristic reddish color. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. It's a pretty standard coin when it comes to design, composition, and size. Now, you might wonder why this particular penny could be worth anything more than a cent. After all, it's a common coin with nothing too special about it, or is it? The key to unlocking the value of this penny lies in the potential for minting errors. These errors can drastically change a coin's value, sometimes making it worth much more than just its face value. So, how could a 1992 D penny be worth $40 million? Well, the answer lies in minting errors. A minting error happens when a mistake occurs during the production of a coin. These errors can range from misaligned strikes to double designs or wrong planches. When a coin has an unusual minting error, it can be incredibly valuable to collectors. Here are a few examples of minting errors that could occur with a 1992 D penny. Double die errors. A double die error happens when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing part of the design to be duplicated. On a 1992 D penny, this could result in double images of Abraham Lincoln's portrait or the date. A double die penny is considered a rare collectible, and the value can rise significantly, especially if the error is particularly noticeable. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the coin's design to be cut off or misaligned. If your 1992 D penny has a significant off-center error, it could be worth much more than its face value. These kinds of errors are quite popular among collectors. Die cracks and chips. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can wear down and develop cracks or chips. These imperfections can leave behind unusual features on the coin, such as cracks running through Lincoln's portrait or across the reverse design. While not as rare as other errors, die cracks and chips can still make a coin valuable, especially if they are particularly prominent. Wrong planchet errors. A wrong planchet error occurs when a penny is struck on a metal planchet that was intended for a different denomination. For example, if a 1992 D penny was mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, it would be smaller and thinner than a regular penny. A wrong planchet penny can be extremely rare and valuable, and depending on the error, it can sometimes be worth tens of thousands, or even millions, of dollars. To understand how minting errors can significantly increase a coin's value, let's look at a few real-life examples of rare and valuable US coins that have sold for millions due to minting errors. The 1943 copper penny. During World War II, the US Mint switched from copper to steel for pennies to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a small number of 1943 pennies were mistakenly struck in copper, and these are now some of the most valuable coins in existence. One of these 1943 copper pennies sold for $1.7 million in 2010. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel is one of the rarest error coins in US history. It was struck illegally by a mint employee, and only 5 of these coins are known to exist. One of them sold for $4.5 million in 2018, setting a record for a coin with a minting error. The 1955 double die penny. The 1955 double die penny features a double date and is one of the most famous minting errors. The coins are rare and highly prized by collectors, and depending on condition, they can be worth anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. These examples show just how valuable a coin with a minting error can be. If the 1992 D penny were to have a rare error, especially a double die or wrong planchette mistake, it could potentially be worth millions of dollars. So, how do you spot a valuable 1992 D penny? Here are a few tips to help you identify a rare penny that could be worth more than just a cent. Look for double die errors. Check the Lincoln portrait, the date, and the mint mark for any signs of doubling. A double die error could make the design appear doubled, especially in the date or Lincoln's features. Examine for off-center strikes, hold the coin up to the light and look for any signs that part of the coin's design is misaligned or cut off. A misaligned design means the coin was struck off-center, and that could be worth a lot more than face value. Look for die cracks or chips. Examine the coin carefully for any cracks or chips in the design. These imperfections could be due to wear on the die and could make the coin more valuable to collectors. Check for wrong planchette errors. If the coin feels unusually thin or small compared to a regular penny, it might have been struck on the wrong metal planchette. A wrong planchette penny can be worth significantly more than a regular 1992 D penny. Now, is the 1992 D penny really worth $40 million? While this number is speculative, it represents the potential value of an extraordinary coin with a rare minting error. While finding a $40 million penny is unlikely, it's certainly possible for a 1992 D penny with a rare and significant minting error to fetch hundreds of thousands, or even more, at auction.at. The very least, if you come across a 1992 D penny with any unusual features or minting errors, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. Whether it's a double strike penny or a wrong planchette, you might just be holding onto a valuable coin. So, what do you think? Could your 1992 D penny be hiding a fortune? If you've got a 1992 D penny in your pocket or collection, make sure to check it carefully for any signs of a rare minting error. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Who knows, your next penny could be worth far more than just 1 cent. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the greatest value.